We have to take these massive problems and organize comprehensive, almost campaign-like wraparound solutions. Same thing for education. It's not about just the teacher qualifications and training. It's not just one thing. You have to have an ecosystem strategy. How do you think we learned? Our first ecosystem was our family. Everybody in our neighborhood was expected to achieve. It was a culture of achievement. And we benefited from sex discrimination because the women who taught us are now running countries. It's transformative thinking. And it takes a willingness to be excluded. It takes a willingness to be outside of your tribe. You have the most critical qualification for doing this level of transformative work is that you have to take on your friends. You have to take on the people you consider part of your social family. You have to take them on in a way that is affirming but demanding a different kind of change and a discomfort with how they do their jobs. This gang strategy requires civil servants to get out of their Dilbert cubicles, stop writing memos to one another. These are people who are very well-meaning, and they've got civil service jobs, but they wouldn't know a gang or a hot zone with MapQuest and a guide dog. They wouldn't know where to find these communities, and when you tell them you have to go into them, they look at you like, are you crazy? You have got to create a core of innovators and entrepreneurs who are willing to demonstrate a transformative strategy. It has been an honor to do this work. I will be a bag lady on La Cienega at some point with my basket, but we have taken what lawyers do, and we have taken some of the toughest problems. The schools, there were 120,000 children without seats. After 10 years of that work, where we had to take over the school board, don't worry, we don't use nonprofit money to do that. We have a law firm to do electoral stuff. Had to take over the school board, take a couple of our friends' designees out of office, take over the school board and create a construction authority of professionals. And we had to go to the military to get 9 retired CB captains to come build our schools because the private sector would not touch the school district's corporation because they bankrupted small businesses. They had no business trying to build 150 schools. Lawyers don't build courthouses. Doctors don't build hospitals. Why do we have school districts building schools? And they hadn't done it in 30 years because they couldn't figure out how to do it. And the kids were sitting in broom closets. Can you imagine 125,000 children with no seats? And we just said, Molly Munger and I went in and we said, well, when are you going to build it? Well, we're having a meeting. Molly said, you have been meeting for 20 years. You have not built a school. They actually think the product is the meeting, not the building. So we figured they're too stupid to sue, so we're going to have to take them over. Don't let us conclude that we can't sue you. Because it means that a lawsuit, and my boss asked me why, I said because we would win and they can't carry out the decree. So you actually have to take over the levers of government, and we did. And we created the construction authority with the military. And we have the Navy building our schools. Then we had to learn how to write bonds. And we had to learn how to do polling. And we wrote the state bonds. We just, 47 trips, we became Jackie Goldberg's staff and Michael Farabow's staff because their staffs didn't know how to do this. And then they told us, well, we don't talk to Republicans, so you have to go talk to the Republicans. And, you know, we sent Steve up there, and when he puts his bow tie on, he looks like George Will. And they think he's a Republican. So he went up there with maps. This is where the data comes in. We had maps of each legislator's district, and we would go in and say, oh, Senator so-and-so, you know, your leadership is just so marvelous, you know, but you got cheated out of the last school construction bond, and we want to show you how many children in your district didn't get a seat because you didn't get your fair share of the last bond. Now, if we have a $30 billion bond, Senator so-and-so, we will make sure that you get money for the... We went to each and every Republican and gave them what they needed, and they wanted an IT center, and they wanted a home ec center, and they wanted... Whatever, we just put it in. There was a huge Christmas. By the time we got done, it was a $35 billion bond. But we had the buy-in of every politician because the Democrats weren't going to talk. We did that work. Put that bond on there and then raised a $20 billion bank. We have $25 billion in the bank. We have opened 66 new schools that are designed by people like Frank Gehry. We have reams of architects and deans of architect schools, and we've organized the universities to help the school district do state-of-the-art design. We have the IT being done by the Army Corps of Engineers, and we went to Fort Hueneme, and we got Captain McConnell and Captain Mahula and Admiral Delker, and we have created the best construction authority in the country. It has won for 3 years in a row the private sector's construction management award of the year. $25 billion in the bank. That district could not have done that. We had to go get the military, and we had to go to court and bring back the first $1 billion. That was our first thing. We had to go to Godinez v. Davis. We had to sue Governor Davis, a Democratic governor. We brought back $1 billion because here's what they had done. The state had taken the school construction money, the bond money, and they were giving it to the suburbs. They were building schools that sat empty in new subdivisions while our kids sat on the floor and had no schools built. Why? Because the construction industry had given a lot of money to the Democrats, and if you build an empty school with a new subdivision, your profit margin goes up 15%. It makes the sale of the homes that much easier. So the profits of the home development industry took precedence over seats for children. That's the kind of massive inequity that the Advancement Project doesn't just lead the charge. We roll over them like a steamroller, and we change the reality on a massive scale, and we fix the problem. Thank you for listening. It's been an honor to address you.